Hey, what's going on everyone? Blade here, and welcome back to another video of P5X. Inside today's video, guys, we're going to be going ahead and checking out the final impressions over Junpei. Now, this is going to be with his 4-star weapon. I have yet to pull the 5-star weapon just yet, but I did tell you guys that I was going to be doing my impressions for him once I did get the character, and it's been interesting. Now, the one thing I do want to say, if I sound a little bit different on my mic, like let's say I'm cutting out a lot or something like that, I'm still trying to figure out some of these settings because my freaking PC went haywire yesterday and I had to legitimately factory reset my entire PC. So I lost a lot of footage. I lost my music. I'm gonna have to go find that stuff back. I'm like, this video might not even have music. I don't know if I'm gonna edit inside of it for music, but yeah. We have a lot of things. If anything, I'll just turn on the Persona music when it comes on. Not think about it yet. Let's just do that. Let's make sure we have some of our audio down though, because I don't want to be blaring you guys' stinking heads off. But yeah, I wanted to go over Junpei today, and just know if I am a little bit spotty on uploads, I know I've been lagging on that, and it was just a lot of things were happening, but something big recently happened, and I'm still kind of taking it pretty hard. So just give me time, but we're gonna try and get this up here. And I gotta say with Junpei is he's a very interesting character. He's more of a hybrid character between a defender and a buffer, which is very interesting to see how P5 is going. But P5 has noticed that when it comes down to healers, when it comes down to defenders, you need something other than just what their main purpose is, aka healing and defending, than what they do have. And we saw this with Yukari, where she has healing, but she also has buffs. We've been recently seeing it with past characters who've been coming out, like Tomoko, who have they heal, but they have buffs. And this is the same thing with Junpei, where he's a defender, but the main deal that he's able to actually benefit from is from having his buffs, which is stinking awesome to see, and it actually does play a critical role in how this character does go. So I ended up getting his cards up. They're pretty decent. They're giving him everything I needed to have here. He has HP, damage bonus, pen, and then this defense, which he does not need. He ends up having crit damage, crit rate, defense, and damage bonus. Really good, at least for this one here. HP main stat. And just to make sure I'm not overcapping, because you only need 520 KHP itself. I made sure I used a crit damage card because he actually does need that crit damage as well, because he is a crit damage buffer to some extent too, in which helps out for HP, substats, pierce, damage bonus, has speed. Did not want it there, but ended up getting on this piece. Doesn't really affect anything though, that's good. And then I have an HP main stat planet piece as well with attack, which this is really bad. SP is really bad, but the reason why I kept it is because of the critical rate and the crit damage. So this card is staying. That crit damage is way too dang high, and I can't get rid of it. This card also, it needs to be kind of re-rolled. It has what's it called? I think this was, yeah, EHR. We have HP, pierce, and then crit damage. So yeah, the man's been doing pretty decent. Overall, his stats look something like this, so I do want to go ahead and give him a try for you guys on the screen. And he honestly affects Makoto in a very good way, to be honest. The other characters that Makoto can end up using is pretty darn decent. They're not bad whatsoever, but seeing a character like this be usable is honestly awesome, because I thought he wasn't going to be the craziest. I thought he was not going to be insane, but it's exactly the opposite. He's actually perfect for fire teams. He's just not too perfect for any other team itself. So the team that you're probably going to be running, especially if you're using Makoto, is going to be something like this here, where you're going to have Mitsuru and Junpei inside of the team as well, with Ange. Ange is being the main person who's giving a ton of pen to Makoto, and Makoto needs a lot of that pen to deal a lot more damage. Plus, of course, since he has a skill 3 that does a plethora of damage, being able to use that skill 3 multiple times is always a great deal. So this is why I decided to run for them. They're all pretty darn good. You want to use this dagger as well if you're going to end up using them. And let's just get straight into the battle. Now I know some of you guys are gonna ask me, hey yo, is there any other teams I can run instead? Can I still use Yukari? You can still use Yukari with this. You can also try to use Summer Marion if you want, but there's obvious reasons of why you wouldn't want to do this, and that's because since Junpei is already buffing, you don't technically need Summer Marion there. Buffs are gonna overlap because he is already buffing for crit damage, so it's a kind of interesting thing to go ahead and do if you're doing a double buff here. But we're going to set this up. Wonder's going first to make sure we get the buffs in. If you did want to go ahead and use the fire team a little bit better here, obviously you need to have certain personas. I would recommend Dionysus, Zalgogan, and then of course Yanosek. But this is a 2-turn team where every 2 turns you're dealing a lot of damage, of course, seeing that Makoto gets his enhanced attack. So how I would recommend a lot of you guys to do this is use the skill 1 on Zalgogan and then transfer to your Dionysus and use Rebellion. That will pretty much help you out what you need here. But once again, going back to Junpei, seeing he is the main talk of the town here, Junpei is a very interesting one because he really does focus a lot on his taunt, which is going to be mainly his skill 3 itself, and it does follow a skill 3 3G1 rotation. Now the skill 2 is never used, so you don't have to upgrade it yourself. If anything, you can kind of ignore it. But when we use the skill 3, what potentially he ends up doing is he takes a taunt here, and with this said taunt, he's also buffing the party's critical damage off of his max HP, and he's also allowing himself to go ahead and pretty much see how much damage he can deal once he ends up doing that counter attack later down the line. Now, he just buffed their critical damage, and I wish I kind of took a picture or showed you guys what it was beforehand, but obviously we have that 7.2% critical damage buff, which is always great to have, being around its max. And if you're using Mitsuru inside of this team, you would end up using the skill 2. Now, the skill 2 is always going to lead you back into like a skill 1 rotation. So you're going to be using all of Mitsuru's things here just to make sure that you're actually using this correctly. So you have the skill 2 that gives the perma buff, the skill 1 that's going to get you at least that lovely attack that you're looking for, and then later down the line you have your skill 3 dealing some decent damage with a 3G. Now, everything here is just set up, and that's the way that Junpei works here. He's really just going to be a good cover here. So if the boss hits all of us, Junpei's going to tank that damage, and then when he does do his counter attack, which you're going to see in a second here, he's going to straight up take down all of the boss's knockdown stats, because the boss has 4. Look at that. So we take immediately 1 down here, and that's already good. That's already nice to do. But the thing that's going to be the cool part is going to be the 3G, where he takes everything down. Now, the counterattack will always come in handy with taking down the defense stacks, or at least the down points themselves, but that later on skill that we get to use with the 3G is where things are really going to pop off. So, first thing, I'm going to go ahead and use this here. Use our extra turns as well, just because I want to get prepared for this, and it's honestly, you guys can see how it's going. He's always going to have that taunt. Your team's pretty much going to be safe, and the only thing you really have to just worry about getting this character is just making sure he can survive himself based on his HP. Now granted, I'm pretty positive he should be fine HP wise. I don't think you should have really any problems with this character surviving. If anything, he should not die. But the buffs that we do get just from being a fire team is what is truly a godsend for this team. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use my infinite algo. Of course, you guys would end up using Rebellion, and you'll see exactly what ends up happening here. So what we end up doing is our first thing is going to be the 3G. So we gotta pop off this 3G, and the reason for this is not only do we deal a decent bit of damage here, but with that said 3G, it is going to take down a lot of this boss's down stacks. If anything, I think it takes down 4 at a time, so we should get the knock here, and this will also increase our whole attack of our actual of Junpei as well as the rest of the party. So if we go ahead and do this here, Yoz does his little animation, which first of all, love it, absolutely nice. And then, as you see, we get the instant knock. Now, he can't crit on that too. Not the highlight. I think it's his other skill, which is a skill 1, that is insanely good. I didn't expect him to deal damage, to be honest, but he did thoroughly surprise me. I think his counter also can crit, so it's actually pretty darn cool. But if we're able to see how much damage he deals immediately, which is a skill 1, you can see 243k is pretty darn good, I would say. I think the highest I hit with him was like 300. And I won't lie, for a defender, especially for someone that's really just giving us buffs, just keeping our team good and everything like that, this is really good to see. I thought he wouldn't deal nearly as much damage, if I'm being so real to myself, and I was wrong. He actually does a lot more damage than expected. So now on this here, you would end up using Mitsuru, using her skill 3, and then afterwards, the next turn, we would end up using her Thurgy, which obviously does help us out as well. But you got some decent backup damagers, which is what we like to see, because with the backup damagers, we're not only just getting the fire damage, of course, that we get automatically with Makoto, but we're also getting some of that lovely extra damage that comes from our sub DPSs, which is what makes this team so freaking good. But afterwards, with Junpei, everything is kind of settled. We're able to then go ahead and just buff up our Makoto with his own assist here, getting up his attack. And we can even see some of the buffs that not only are provided by our rest of our team here, but are also provided by Junpei. Remember, he's heavily buffing our crit damage, and we can see that I'm at 65% crit rate, 448% crit damage, and even our attack went up, because remember, he is helping out our attack as well, and this is going to be based on his HP. So we're getting a major buff overall, which is going to be really cool to actually see how much damage you can do. But let's go ahead and use our skill, or at least our Thurgy. I wish I had A2, because then I get the buffs and the Thurgy damage, so we really could see how much Makoto can really do. But as you see, 738, which isn't too impressive. But what's the impressive part is, of course, the skill 3, where we start to see how much damage this man can do. Now remember, he's A0, R0, and we're hitting 2.9 mil to 3.4 mil, seeing that, Mitsuru helped us out there as well for that extra damage. So I'm just gonna do this, which does give us a little bit of a small buff, I think, in our pin, as well as a small buff in our attack here, because it was not overlapped in time. And then if we go ahead and use this again, we get an extra hit off, of course. We're able to see how much damage is done, which is 3.4 mil all the way to 4 mil. And we do it one more time, which should be another 4 million. So it's pretty cool to finally actually have a decent team with this, and you can obviously see the extra damage that's giving to us due to having Junpei here. And as you see, no one took damage. No one's taking damage, and it's all because Junpei kind of exists in this team, and he's able to tank all of that damage that's needed. With Ange here, of course, if you end up having like A2 or I think it's A1, you're getting that consistent heal. And when it does come back down to Junpei's side, you're able to, of course, put up this taunt, allowing you to do a lovely counterattack, which I just want to do one more time before I exit on out here, because this team is fun. I've enjoyed it. I've liked it a lot, and the fact that he's able to tank as much as he is, and look at that, just smack him on back here, is so freaking nice. It's freaking awesome. And I think the fire team, this is the only thing they needed now. I think they can kind of be good for a little while on how they do perform, and they'll be a freaking awesome team. But I do think with Junpei here, he's an awesome character. He's a character that if you are really interested into fire teams, if this is any future fire team, stuff like that, if you are a person who wants to invest into a fire team, this unit might be for you, because honestly, he's really good as a fire type defender. The only problem is if he isn't in a fire team, he is very lackluster. He's not meant to be with other teams themselves right now. I think unless you have A2 on him, you're kind of stuck. So that's all I wanted to really go over today, you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I might just start keeping the music in here. I don't know. I gotta go find some more non-copyrighted music because I've lost all my audio files. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But till then, everybody, thank y'all for watching, and peace out.